Yep. Oh, Maria, if you can swap and go.
Oh, wait, is my name?
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Now joining us from North Carolina is head coach Courtney Banghart, along with student athletes Maria Gakdeng and Lexi Donarski. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we will get a mic over to you. Please introduce yourself and provide the name of the media outlet you're representing. A reminder that no video recording is permitted. We can get you a recording of that afterwards. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and then open it up for questions whenever you're ready, Coach.
Yeah, what a great environment. Have to apologize, we just didn't play very well. You can't not play well in March. You can say that any detail you want, but we just didn't play well enough. So, you know, there were times where we played hard enough, but just none of our guys, you know, myself included, we just weren't good enough today. So we regroup and have another chance.
We'll take questions. Again, if you can please raise your hand and we'll get a mic over to you. We'll start in the front center.
Coach Skip Foreman with the News and Record of Greensboro.
Hi.
A non-game related question, but
oh, fine.
Appreciate it. Greensboro has been the home of the ACC women's for years. Mm-hmm. All indications are that that won't be the case at least next year and maybe the year after. Reflect on what Greensboro has meant to you, your program, your players, just the whole idea of women's college basketball.
I'm not sure I'm in a position to really talk much about kind of what it means to the program. There's been a lot of really good Carolina teams well before me, who I'm sure they should speak to some of the memories. Ivory would be a good example of people that have had really great experiences here. I haven't yet had my great experience here, right? So we'll hopefully have a chance to come back and do that. But the people of Greensboro, they do it the right way. You know, I feel like I should send a Christmas card to half of the escorts. You know, they're just always so kind. It's a great environment here. I mean, I know that a lot of these schools can drive. You know, a lot of the ACC schools can drive, which means our fan bases can drive, which means that there's more fans here. And, you know, at the same time, I know there are plenty of league schools that are saying it's an advantage to the North Carolina schools. I think that all I'd say about that is oftentimes the North Carolina schools are also have been higher in the seedings. So, yeah, they're also some of the better teams. So, I mean, that's part of it, right? But yeah, it's, the people have been great. I think there are people have won a lot more games than me at Carolina that should speak about the experience here as winning the thing, because I've yet to do it.
We'll go here in the second row to RL.
Ariel Bottom Target Tribune. I'm going to ask about what did they do to take Renaya out of her game? She had no assists, 2 points. And then what did they do to keep India at bay until the last few minutes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a really good team. They've got the 1 seed in the tournament, you know, by just their collective play. They've got 3 really dynamic guards. They've got improving post players. That's just a really good team. We just didn't play very well. I mean, I'd love to make excuses, and that means I didn't coach very well, right? Because obviously this is nothing that we do. This particular team is nothing we do is alone. So I didn't coach very well. Our players didn't play very well, and that's just an honest statement. So I don't know if there was anything you know, we liked their coverage, and we knew they were going to ice. We knew they would be in drop. We're pretty good in that coverage. We were excited about this matchup, right? We've obviously beat them before. We really didn't play very well. You could say we didn't shoot well. Yeah, we didn't shoot well either, right? And it's hard to win games and you don't shoot well. I don't even know what it was. It felt like we wouldn't hit water if it fell off a boat, right? But I also don't think we just played very well, quite honestly. So that's why I started with an apology, because there was a lot of people here that were excited about 2 heavyweights, and I don't think we brought our part of that today.
We're going to go directly behind RL in the 3rd row, please.
Megan Smith, the Daily Tar Heel.
Hi.
Courtney, just how hard was it to handle State physically? I mean, it seemed like they were getting every rebound. They were all over you guys.
That will probably be a better question for our players. You know, we missed so many shots, so that's how they got so many defensive rebounds. The offensive rebounds were tied, right? So I don't think they out-rebounded us in that way. I don't know. I honestly, I know it's always fun to have a good story, so I'm trying to help, but we just didn't play very well, guys. I wish I had more answers. Maybe these kids do, but I don't think, when we got into the rim, we didn't finish well. When we had open threes, we didn't. I think we airballed 3 3-pointers. This is high-level Division I basketball, right? We just didn't play very well. So I don't know if it was their physicality. I felt like Florida State was pretty physical, and they were pretty physical the last time we played them. NC State were pretty physical. I think that's what the #1 defensive team in the league people say about us. We're very physical. We just didn't play very well, and I believe me, I wish I had a better answer that I can assure you of.
Go in the front left.
Yes, ma'am. Rob McLean with Inside
Hi.
Back Sports. Hey, you guys closed 17-7 in the first half, and then State got it back up to plus 17. How critical was that third quarter, ma'am, where they got that separation back up?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said in the locker room, like, I think there were plenty of people here in Greensboro that thought we were going to lay down and die, but that's not what we do. That's just not us. I had no, we just possession by possession is how we operate, and there's no quit in this group. And we cut it to 7, and then we missed that layup. Just things like that. We just couldn't quite get over the hump today. And you've got to play well in March. There is no margin of error. You got to play well in March, and we look forward to another opportunity to do that.
Back to the third row, please.
Cade Shoemaker with the Daily Tar Heel.
Hi.
For Lexi, I know I asked you this yesterday, but that another 11-minute stretch where you guys just are not able to hit a shot. What do you do to make shooting easier on yourselves or trying to get better looks so that you can just see one go through the basket?
Yeah, I think we had a little stretch in the first half that we were taking a little bit too quick of shots for how contested they were. Not that we're not capable of making them, but I think as a team, we're better when someone wins the paint and kicks it out, or off a post feed, or open in transition. And I feel like those weren't the shots that we were getting for that little stretch in there where we were struggling. So just really thinking about what we need to do to get the best shot for the team. And I feel like when we did that later on, we did make a couple more shots when we did that.
Go in the second row on our left.
Connor Vandermark, technician.
Hi.
Courtney, the last time y'all played, you held NC State to just 4 points in the second quarter. That was their lowest of the season. What changed? Because they scored 16 in the first 3.
Yeah, we didn't play well. Obviously we had Alyssa back, so we felt like we were better defensively than we were the last time we played them. And I'm sure what Wes will say is the last time that we played them, they didn't play very well. I mean, these are 2 really good teams, and if you play 10 times, I think you're gonna like kind of both sides of that, And so it wasn't tactical. We didn't change our coverages. We didn't feel like we needed to. They played their same coverages as well. Quite honestly, we just didn't play well enough. I know that's a terrible answer. This is going to be tough for you guys to write a good story.
We'll go on the left over your shoulder to Marissa.
Marissa Sisk, Career Hoop Stats. Obviously, this one's over, and you got about 10 days to get ready for the next round. Anything in particular y'all want to work on?
We need to step away from each other for a minute. I think we all just need a chance to breathe, right? And to get everybody a little bit more rest. It's been 3 games in 3 days, and 3 scouts in 24 hours and all that. So part of it is rest, and then what you get to use the next 10 days for, and even more than that, is you get to really look in totality at what your strengths are and ensure that you're staying in rhythm on your strengths. And then look in totality at where your weaknesses are and how can you hide that on either side of the ball, or build depth there where you might not be. But I like the way this team is built. I mean, we've got a lot of options at a lot of spots, right? And again, it's so easy, and believe me, I'm as competitive as they come. You don't sign on for this industry if you're not. But win or lose, you're not defined by one game. Like, this team's really good. They've won 27 basketball games. If you had told me at the beginning of the year we'd be 27 and whatever we are, I'd be like, awesome, that sounds great. Let's do it. Let's go into March. So we're not going to reinvent ourselves, which we had to do last March because we got so injured. We only had 6 players. That's not the case. We're actually getting healthy now. So we'll accentuate our strengths and work through a few things that I think we need to work through weakness-wise, but not a whole ton, quite honestly.
Quick follow-up. You, Duke, and NC State all making the semis for the first time in, I think, about 8 years, and all going to host. I know you've been asked this a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much concrete now that all 3 teams in the Triangle are going to host.
Yeah, that's just remarkable. I mean, I know that was something that we all collectively, my first year here, we had like a I don't know, a meet and greet or something, and Joanne P., I think, was still the coach at Duke, and Wes, and we all were together, and we were like, imagine if we all could host, right? And like, here it is, you know, and that's really remarkable. And it's obviously, I've said this all the time, it's great. You can share the expenses of ESPN, you can just come on down, right, and move along through. But really, the body of work for you to live in the Triangle and to be able to watch 3 heavyweights play twice a week, I mean, we should get a cut of the taxes because we're helping the cost of living in the area. This is just with how much on fire women's basketball is and the investment people are making in women's basketball. It's remarkable, and you know we'll be rooting for both of them to show how good our league is, and I know they'll be doing the same for us.
We've got time for a few more. We'll go in the 3rd row and then in the 2nd row.
Maria, I know 3 games in 3 days, it's a brutal schedule and you just got to fight through it. But during that game, did you ever feel like fatigue set in for you guys, or maybe now that the adrenaline's wearing off, do you feel any of that?
I think when we're in the game, I don't really feel it because the adrenaline rush, but definitely when we like settle down. But we do great with treatment, getting our bodies right for the next day. I think we came prepared today. We just didn't follow through with the win.
Then we'll go in the 2nd row center.
Maria, I want to ask about the physicality of this game. You were battling a lot. Was this one of the more physical matchups you've had?
I think every game in the ACC is just physical for me. I'm double teamed. I'm pushed out of the post. I'm, elbowed in the back, every game. So it's something I'm used to, but I knew, like, coming into this game as a rivalry, we're playing to go to the championship game. So playing with a little bit more grit today was a big part of it.
We've got another one on this left section behind you. Back on the left.
Lauren with the 9450. Coach, this is for you.
Hey.
Us be with 2 early fouls in the first quarter. Describe the amount of trust you have in her to keep her on the floor despite the foul trouble, and how does that kind of affect the game plan going forward?
Well, they started to ISO her and try to pick up her third, and I was liking that they were playing ISO ball. So I was like, all right, if I keep her in, you'll play ISO ball. Well, that works. So because I trust her that she'll play straight up, her. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I don't need to be fined. But I think she was able to just play vertically. I trust her to be able to do that. She knows the value to our team, and it forced them to play kind of 1v1, which allowed everybody else to kind of settle in to their gaps and all that.
Do we have any more for UNC? We'll go again in the 3rd row and then take our last one here in the 2nd row.
Lexi, you were pretty clearly frustrated the whole game. Was that just the deficit that was getting to you, or was it the foul calls? What was it that was bothering you?
Don't say foul calls.
I don't think I was very frustrated throughout the whole game. I feel like when we play together, we're good, and we made some runs back. And, I feel like I try to get as much out of my teammates as I can. And so when we're getting down, like, I'm trying to get the energy out of everyone, and I don't think that's frustration. I think it's more like motivation and trying to bring us all together.
We'll take our last in the 2nd row here.
Maria, NC State has a very young post room. It's 2 freshmen and a sophomore. All 3 of them almost fouled out trying to guard you. What were you noticing when you were in the paint?
I knew that part of the game plan was getting the ball inside, knowing that just getting into them, trying to finish over, and that they're a young group and they're improving year by year. But getting the ball to me, an experienced post player, and getting them in foul trouble early in the game was important to getting us going.
Thank you all. There's
Thanks, guys.
about 15 minutes left in UNC's open locker room if anyone is taking advantage of that.